Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new, and thank you for being here. And if you've already been a subscriber, then welcome back if you're familiar. It's good to see you guys. I hope that you're enjoying year 2019 so far. Today, I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about worry and share some thoughts about worry and the worry energy and what it can kind of do in your life without you actually meaning it to. So I had written this last year already, but I decided that I'm going to share all these thoughts on video too. So I hope that this resonates and I hope you enjoy it. Worry does no one any good. Not us, not the person we're worried about, and not the collective. When we worry, we are projecting fearful energy into our future potentialities and inadvertently attracting situations and experiences that create more worry. Understand that we each have the ability to think ourselves into worry or to redirect our thoughts away from worry. Rather than allowing fear to overtake you, remember that the simplest and most plausible explanation is probably true for many circumstances. What does this mean in practical terms? Well, anytime you catch yourself thinking thoughts of worry, sit with the feeling for a moment and ask yourself what is truly plausible as far as what it is you're worried about. Is the worry realistic? Or is it your ego making mountains out of molehills again, creating problems where there are none? Here's a thought. How many of us tend to think that when we don't worry and fear, we're somehow not showing love towards someone we think we should be worried about? When we move past our own layers of societal and cultural conditioning and begin to see what's going on behind the scenes, we start to learn that worry is a fear-based emotion or energy. That means we not only have the ability to project that energy into our own futures, but also into the futures of others if they're sick or recovering from something. For example, when we project worry toward others, we are really projecting fear, and that can create more contrast and worry because it feeds that energy. If we become habitual in our worrisome thinking, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy and a habit, and will often feel like a curse. It becomes a belief system. This can lead to mental health issues such as anxiety and panic attacks, because once it's ingrained in our subconscious as a belief system, we're no longer as aware of it and where it comes from. And because we tend to bury intense emotions and suppress them, they can build up over time and create havoc within our mind, body, soul, and emotional system. Here's how this works. You allow yourself to be worried about something and find it gets worse. You feel guilty if you try to stop worrying. That's the ego or 3D consciousness talking. So you allow it to go on out of conditioned guilt, obligation, and shame. Pretty soon you're worrying about all sorts of things on a regular basis, creating anxiety and fear within your everyday existence. This in turn attracts things to be anxious and fearful about, which then creates more, and it becomes a downward spiral until you basically resign yourself to a belief. This belief is that you are somehow cursed, nothing ever goes right for you, and you are doomed to have to worry about things in your life forever. No matter how long you've been trapped in that negative thought loop, rest assured that you do have the power and ability to change your thinking, one moment and one redirection of thoughts at a time. To help break the worry cycle, be specific about what is and what is not your responsibility. Understand that trying to force or control anything outside of your circle of control will only create more conflicting energy. Pushing against a stressful situation will assuredly create more stress because what we resist persists. To learn more about the circle of control, you can go to innerworkcoaching.life and check out the landing page for Defusing the Love Bomb. And that video will, with the explanation of the circle of control, will be on that page for free for you to watch. So if you're confused about the circle of control, I highly recommend going and checking that out. Try to relax. Distract yourself. Stay busy working towards something that you feel passionate about. Listen to uplifting music. Most importantly of all, don't allow those fearful thoughts to control you or how you're feeling. And of course, you can always meditate or take a nap to reset your vibration and get back into alignment. Nothing is the end of the world. Not even death is permanent. It's only a form of shifting dimensions. And it's okay to feel afraid or anxious, but be sure not to perpetuate those lower vibrational energies unnecessarily. We can be much more helpful to others and ourselves if we keep calm and remember that everything happens in divine timing and for a reason. Like Abraham Hicks always likes to say, you can't get poor enough to help the poor, and you can't get sick enough to help the sick. We've got to align ourselves and be at our absolute best selves if we truly want to help other people, right? When we can feel peaceful about things from a bigger perspective and radiate joy, love, and healing energies toward the people we would normally be so worried about, then we're projecting a much brighter light into our own future, the collective, and the lives of those we interact with and care deeply about. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that Source has your back always, and you are worthy of the joy and abundance you desire. These practices can help you to align with unconditional love more often and create the joy and happiness you desire from within you so that it will be reflected back to you in your experience. I kind of want to revisit the idea about being programmed to feel guilty if we don't worry. Like if we're not worried constantly, everybody says a mother's job is to worry, right? Do you really think that if we're sending all these worrisome, fearful vibes and projecting that onto our children, I would imagine that doesn't really send a message of love. It sends a message of fear. And, as socially acceptable as it is, and quote unquote normal, it doesn't do any good. And most of us don't understand that, see, because most of us don't understand emotions. And until we do, until we learn how to process them, it's important to focus on kind of what's best for us, if that makes sense. From a standpoint of unconditional self-love and self-care and caring for yourself and making sure that your needs are met, worry really does no good. All it does is create friction and tension and conflict. And the more you feed into it and the more you play into it and the more you run with that kind of thought loop, that spiral, the more you're projecting onto your timeline things to be fearful and worried about. So it's the same thing with other people. If we are sitting there worried about them and worry, and all that they're getting is a bunch of fearful energy from people, then it isn't very, very feasible for them to get better, um, if someone's sick, for example, um, worry is a tricky thing, because on the one hand, you're like, well, you have to think about the real potentials and be safe. But at the same time, you have to start really being aware of, am I creating something out of nothing? Is everything just fine? Can this be, can we settle this via a conversation rather than exploding at each other because we're all scared? Because really, that's what it is, isn't it? People get scared, and that's when they argue. That's when they blow up at each other. Something happens or some unknown variable comes into play, and the unknown is scary. It can be, the unknown can be really scary. However, the calmer we are able to stay, the more focused and in alignment and centered, knowing who we are and what we stand for, and exactly that we can figure out what we need to do, period, and that we trust ourselves, right? That's the important part, that we are able to look within us in whatever circumstance or situation or whatever we might find ourselves in and say, okay, how do I handle this from a place of love, right? Unconditional versus a place of fear. And of course, there's many, many, many layers to this. So if you're interested in learning more, I invite you to go over to innerworkcoaching.life. My upcoming class, Defusing the Love Bomb, is all about how to love yourself unconditionally. And this will spill over into every single aspect of your life. Your relationships will improve, your health will improve, everything will improve by taking this class. And it's all unconditional love. That is the basis for everything. And if that resonates with you, then go ahead and check it out. I already have a bunch of content posted for free. I am working on uploading and creating the rest of it. The upload process takes forever because video and audio is like humongous, but it's all going to get done. And my goal is to do like a soft launch at the end of January. So if you guys want to check it out in advance or keep an eye on it, I invite you to do just that. And stay tuned for more videos because this is pretty much the topic I'm going to be focusing on throughout this season of the podcast and for the next, I don't know how long, however long I feel called to. All right. I'm happy to have you guys here. Thank you again for being here. Again, if you're new, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Namaste. I hope that you're having a wonderful new year so far and that this information resonates. And remember not to worry too much. You know, we're going to land somewhere. Things don't just fall apart. They fall apart to come back together. So even if you're experiencing contrast, don't feed it. Don't feed into it emotionally. Kind of use this opportunity to go within and try to learn from whatever it is you're going through. Contrast happens, you know. Freaking out about it doesn't do anybody any good, and it can create more problems. So let's try and handle everything with love, right? All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great one. Mwah. Much love.
Do you see beauty or do you see pain? Oh, whatever you feel is what comes back again. Oh.
Thank you so much for being here, my friends. Namaste. As you remember and reconnect with the light of unconditional love within your soul, don't forget to enjoy your life and have some fun along the way. Fall into the unknown.
Fall with me into the unknown. Let's break free, learn how to let go.
Download this track and other fun bonuses when you defuse the love bomb at www.innerworkcoaching.life.